Welder's mask. All right. How much does a welder's mask cost?
Fact checking.
Like, you know what I mean? For my last minute terrible planning.
Solar powered welding at Walmart, $12.
$12. All right. So Virginia, if you're listening, you got to go get a bunch of slushes and then welding masks at Walmart.
Yeah, that is the thing with the slushy from Sonic. That looks to be true.
Chris on the members nutrition text line says that Vice President Harris will be using binoculars.
Nice.
Checks out. I don't know. I mean, did you see all the conspiracy theories on the internet about the eclipse?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure you did. I have not.
They all add in the spooky music to make it seem a little bit more ominous. I don't know if I believe in any of the conspiracy theories. I saw a lot of them. But again, we're not even sure we're going to see this eclipse today.
I know.
The clouds are going to ruin it. The only thing happening for sure today is that after the eclipse, the Google search trends are going to be, why do my eyes hurt? Stinging eyes, eclipse.
Yeah, exactly. I like what you said earlier. Can't see good.
Can't see good after looking at eclipse. And then there'll be misspellings in there, too. It'll be like, does the sun burn you eyeballs? Eyeball hurting. Eyeball hurting is going to be a most Googled trend today.
Yeah, eyeball hurting eclipse. Yeah, exactly.
Eyeball hurt eclipse. This is the only guarantee. It's the only guarantee. I do want to say though, in all seriousness, keep your head on a swivel while excuse me. Keep your head on a swivel while you're out there. There is a terror warning, and ABC News was reporting this.
Security warning right here in the U.S. from the FBI and Homeland Security. Warning of potential threats to public gatherings. The timing of this and why they're concerned tonight. Here's our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, with late reporting.
Tonight, FBI and Homeland Security officials are warning U.S. law enforcement about the potential for terror inspired by that deadly ISIS attack in Moscow targeting a concert hall. The concern, according to the bulletin, violence targeting mass gatherings such as sports stadiums, concert venues, or houses of worship in the United States. Law enforcement told to be on the lookout for any suspicious activity. The bulletin coming just days before millions will gather to watch the eclipse on Monday. Authorities say following the Moscow attack, ISIS and its supporters celebrated the assault and shared graphic and violent attack footage, the terror group calling for similar attacks in the United States. I'm told U.S. law enforcement is being urged to take this bulletin seriously.
No, I think everybody should take it seriously. You know, it's crazy that this is where we're at in the world, right? But if everybody's looking up, nobody's really paying attention to what's going on around them. Keep your head on a swivel out there, especially if you're in a large gathering. I pray nothing happens. All likelihood is that nothing will happen. But, you know, when they put those warnings out, we should take them a little bit serious. And when, you know, everyone is going to be looking up, not looking around, people could be, you know, caught off guard. I will say this, one place I don't want to be for the solar eclipse is New York. Do you hear what the governor is warning people in New York? She said, pack snacks and water because you could be stuck for a long time on the highways.
Ugh.
If you're taking a road trip for a better part of the view, you want to pack plenty of patience. It drives me nuts when people say, pack your patience.
Makes me want to be less patient.
I'm already less patient. But they say bring granola bars, bring water. The expected impact of roadways from western New York to central Texas is being compared to 20 or 30 Super Bowls happening all at once. At once.
That's crazy.
Isn't that insane? You think about all the highways that are going to be affected by this. At a special pre-eclipse press conference at Niagara Falls Sunday, Governor Kathy Hochul warned that unusually heavy traffic was set to hit the Empire State in the coming days. She said, we are literally over the moon to welcome over 1 million people to our state for this once-in-a-generation moment. But the roads can only handle so much, and we're expecting a high volume of traffic before and after the event. She also urged drivers not to pull their cars off to the side of the road during the eclipse. Park it right there in the middle.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? What? She said, please do not do that. It makes sense, though. She says, if we need emergency vehicles to get through, our first responders will use that as the best place for them to get to you and your family quickly. And she also said, make sure you have a full tank of gas. It is going to be absolute chaos on the highways.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
20 or 30 Super Bowls happening at once. The Canadian side of Niagara Falls, they declared a state of emergency last week ahead of the solar eclipse, as it estimates up to 1 million visitors will descend on the iconic falls, as it has been deemed the best place to view it.
Wow.
That would be a cool spot to see it.
That'd be sick.
That would be nuts, right?
That'd be awesome.
Niagara Falls. Too bad nobody's going to be able to get there today because of traffic. Like, you would have had to start camping out Saturday night if you want to be there for the falls. So 203 is what I've been hearing today here in Middle Tennessee.
Yep.
203, and we'll be able to not see a thing because of the cloud cover.
Gosh, I hope that's not the case. Ugh.
I mean, did you look at the forecast? It looks like we're pretty much covered. I didn't do a deep dive. I just did the little scrolly thing with the time, and I just see a cloud on.
You saw a
my
cloud.
phone.
No, I get it. That's about as deep dive as I can go too. Yeah,
that's pretty much all I did.
Could look at a radar, but
I feel like that's for squares. I don't want to take like Stefano DiPietro's thunder during the weather reports.
No pun intended.
I didn't intend to pun.
Yeah, I mean, I know our neighbors Kentucky. They're expecting over 1 million people to pass through the state today. Andy Bashir has kind of put out a lot of the same tips. You know.
Were you here in 2017?
I was in college. I was UT. I was in Knoxville. Yeah.
I mean, it was chaos here in 2017.
Oh, I bet.
Everybody wanted to be here.
Yeah, it's a great spot to see it.
Why wouldn't you?
I mean, heck yeah.
It's a great spot to just be.
Yeah, exactly. For eclipse or not.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to today. I don't know if we're going to see it. We'll see what happens. Sally says Harbor Freight Tools sells cheap welding goggles. Just need the lens. Somebody else said 9423. You don't need the welding mask, just the lens. $10 at Tractor Supply. 7671 said use black shoe polish under your eyes and you'll be good. That's it. That's all you need. Shell gas station on Lebanon Road in Mount Juliet. I'm hearing that's a spot with them. Optical stores, 9283. Optical stores. That's like a low-key sleeper spot to get some glasses today. I wouldn't have thought to look at an optical store. Phil wants to know what kind of underwear should you wear during an eclipse. Said fruit of the moon.
Nice.
That was Phil.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I wonder what today will bring. I got a text here from 0026. I have a friend that drives every day from Houston to Waco, and they were trying to get a hotel to avoid the traffic, and the cheapest hotel he found last week was over $1,000. $1,000 for a hotel room. I feel like it was pretty similar around here during the last eclipse.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that's astronomical.
Yep. It's $1,000. Jeez. Said TB said eclipse will be too hard to spell for most Googlers. It'll be off. It'll be off. All right. So the eclipse is today. Matt Murphy's going to be broadcasting the entire thing from the roof. We're sending him up to the roof, and he's going to be doing a live broadcast. So if you don't want to look at the eclipse, you can listen to the eclipse. Right? Is that like the next best?
Yeah, that's
the next best option.
If there's clouds, but you really just want to hear the eclipse.
If you want to hear what it's like, that's a great option for you. It's not, it's not the same thing as staring at it through a welding mask. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm looking forward to that. Cameron Smith is actually going to be in for Murphy today during the Murphy Show. Murphy's in for Brian. And then, is everybody going up to the roof?
I have no clue.
Are you going up to the roof?
I might be. I don't know.
Are you going to do the news up there?
If he lets me.
Because if it starts at 2:03, you're going to have to get through the news.
Yeah, I got to get through the news
Or
quick.
you should just skip that newscast. You should.
Dan Mandis listening. I don't know.
Nah, I would skip it. Nobody's going to be listening anyway. Like, not to the news. They want play-by-play on the Eclipse.
Bingo.
All right, it's 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at United Structural Systems. You know them as USS. I'm new to WTN, still sort of new, but I'm not new to USS. Like you, I've heard their commercials on WTN for years. I got to meet the guys at USS, and I have to be honest with you, they're exactly what everybody tells you they are. Honest, hardworking, great guys, proud of the work they do. And when we're getting in this rain over this season, you're going to find yourself in a situation where maybe you have water coming into your crawl space or your basement. The guys at USS told me that the thing about the work they do is you don't know you need it until you know you need it. So as the rain starts falling, look around your house and look for these warning signs. Are you noticing standing water in your crawl space? Are you seeing wet basement floors, cracks in your or wet basement walls, cracks in your basement floors? That's your house trying to tell you something, and you should give the guys at USS a call to come take a look. They'll come up with a custom, unique plan for your home to fix whatever issue ails it, and then they won't leave until the work is done and you are satisfied. They have 25,000 satisfied customers to back them up, and they aren't going anywhere. They've been doing this work in Middle Tennessee since 1994. So if you have a waterproofing need, the guys at USS will be the ones you need to call. 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. And it's not just waterproofing. They can do so much more, from basement wall realignment to sinkhole repair to foundation repair. They've been doing it for a long, long time. Call USS today, 615-488-7855, or online at ussTN.com.
All right, solar eclipse fans, guess what's happening on I-24 heading north out of Nashville? It is backing up between I-65 and Old Hickory Boulevard. There's about a 16-minute delay now. Looks like a lot of folks trying to head toward totality for today's total eclipse. Former President Trump out with his official abortion statement, and so is the Vatican on transgender surgeries. All this and more at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver, and thank you to everyone on the Members Nutrition text line. I just spent the commercial break talking to my wife. I listed off everything that you guys told me. So this is a good starting spot. She gave me like 20 places. We'll check them all. Gotta get them glasses.
Should be rocking around with welding masks, 20 Sonic slushies.
Listen, this is what we need. This is what the people want. I got a text here that made me laugh. It said, if you're listening to the eclipse on WTN, what kind of ear protection do you need? I'm not sure.
We'll fact check that.
We'll figure that out for you. We wouldn't want anybody to be injured. Hey, here's a story that I wanted to get to real quick, because I thought I don't know why this just it really made me laugh. It really made me laugh. Don Lemon got married over the weekend. That's not the part that really made me laugh.
Okay.
So he married his longtime fiance Tim Malone. Not the part that made me laugh. The part that really struck me as quite funny was that the man he married is a white guy. And I remember Don Lemon saying that white people were the biggest terror threat in the country.
Realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right. And we have to start doing something about them. There is no travel ban on them.
No travel ban on him, and Don Lemon decided to marry the biggest terror threat in the country over the weekend.
There is no ban on, they had the Muslim ban. There is no white guy ban. So what do we do about that?
Don Lemon decided to marry them, I guess, right? I don't know.
So and
it's just kind of weird when you go on TV and you say that.
Realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men,
and then you marry a white man. Just weird. 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Ken Weaver with the latest headlines.
Yeah, right now, traffic heading north out of Nashville is pretty slow going there on 24. Right now, a 20-minute delay reported because of a backup between 65 and Old Hickory Boulevard. And we'll have the full forecast in 2 minutes. Got some potentially bad news if you're hoping to see the actual eclipse here in Nashville.
Pour me another drink.
Morgan Wallen facing felony charges after getting arrested on Lower Broad overnight after allegedly tossing a chair from the roof of Eric Church's bar. It landed just 3 feet from where 2 police officers were standing. Wallen charged with felony reckless endangerment and disorderly conduct. And former President Trump says his stance on abortion is...
The states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land. In this case, the law of the state.
Trump stopping short of urging a nationwide ban at a set number of weeks. And the Vatican today declaring sex change operations and surrogacy as, quote, grave threats to human dignity. The Vatican's doctrine office puts the practices on par with abortion and euthanasia as things the church sees as violating God's plan for human life. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
9:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Shout out to 0038. We have the best listeners on the members nutrition text line, the best listeners on the planet. She said, Chris, I actually have 4 extra pairs of glasses. My 2 teen sons and husband did not bring theirs to work with them today. Promised I'm not a creepo. Give your wife my number. I'll give them to you. Perfect.
That's so nice.
That's so nice.
That's great.
So I will give my wife your number. Thank
Clutch.
you, 0038. And this whole time, I wasn't just like lobbying for free glasses also.
Sure.
But I will give that person a shout out.
Yeah, of course.
You know, to not burn the kids' retinas is a big deal. So, Calvin, the distinguished gentleman in Lebanon, has been waiting for a second. He wants to talk about student loans. What's up, Calvin?
Well, Chris, good morning, by the way.
Good morning. Thanks for holding, man.
Well, sure. You're always worth it, you and Mac and Kim Weaver.
Appreciate you,
But
buddy.
as listeners, we got an opportunity to text in or call in. And this election is so important that we have to keep the craziness of these last 3 years, 3 plus, on people's minds. So anytime I can think of something crazy, if I could figure this text line out, you'd hear more from me. But we have the everyday inflation, border. But what about the craziness? Let's take this. If you're over in a foreign country like Israel and war breaks out, I believe there was 1,000 Americans left there. And everyone was, we got to get them out, we got to get them out. Well, we'll pay your student loan today, but we're going to have to send you the bill for the airfare to get you out of Israel. Remember that?
Yep.
How crazy is that? And let's not forget Nancy Pelosi's ugly mug when she was standing at that podium laughing, saying that COVID was a gift from heaven to the left. Well, we've got a bird flu amping up. I don't put nothing past these people, but I'm going to do my part to try to keep some of the craziness on people's mind. So that's just something to think about.
Hey, I hear you, Calvin, and I appreciate it. You know, it's funny. It's Biden is actually going to be announcing a new student loan forgiveness plan today, they're saying. This was published at 5 a.m. this morning. CNBC has a story. Joe Biden is going to announce today a new sweeping student loan forgiveness plan, which could benefit tens of millions of Americans. And he's going to share the details of the aid package at an event today in Madison, Wisconsin. This news comes less than a year after the Supreme Court rejected his first attempt to cancel up to $20,000 in student debt per borrower, and the conservative justices ruled that that effort was unconstitutional in June. So he just keeps going back to the well, right? So Biden's plan B for student loan forgiveness will be narrower than his initial effort. Tens of millions of borrowers may still see their balances erased or lowered if this program survives the legal challenges this time. I don't want to pay for anybody's gender studies degree. I know you don't either. I didn't even go to college, full disclosure. I jumped right into the workforce. Very grateful to not be saddled by that debt, but there are people who are saddled by debt. They shouldn't have taken out the loans. It shouldn't be on the taxpayers to cover that at all. It's just not the business. And as we move towards 2024, I'll tell you what, the Dems did something that I thought was actually really funny, and I would like more of this kind of stuff as opposed to just bad policies and mudslinging that way. So remember the proposal where the GOP wanted to rename Dulles Airport in D.C. after Trump? Well, the Dems have retaliated against this by launching a bid to rename a Miami federal prison after him. And I think I love it. I love it. It's the best prison. People really enjoy themselves there. So House Republicans introduced legislation to name the Dulles, D.C. airport after Trump. Now, congressional Democrats are introducing another bill to rename a prison after him. I'm here for it. I think this is probably... The Dems don't do funny things very often. Well, they do things that we laugh at, but not like intentionally funny. This is intentionally funny, and I hope it happens because the bill was introduced to retaliate against the GOP for proposing the airport name change. So one of the Democrats that pushed this is Rep. Jerry Connolly. He's out of Virginia. And he said, when our Republican colleagues introduced their bill to rename Dulles after Donald Trump, I said the more fitting option would be to rename a federal prison. The representative said it was the only honor he truly deserves. I think it's hilarious. I hope both name changes go through. I love this. It honestly tickles me pink. And meanwhile, as we're seeing the Dems throw their temper tantrums, we're seeing never Trumpers coming to the realization that there is no alternative but to vote for Trump in 2024. Many Republicans who previously vowed not to support Trump if he became the nominee are now reconsidering their stance, citing dissatisfaction with Biden's policies and leadership. There is no decision. If you're a never Trumper and you would rather vote for Joe Biden or not vote at all, you are part of the problem. There's a big one, though. Eric Levine, he was a former supporter of Nikki Haley, prominent GOP fundraiser. He explained to Fox News that while his vote for Trump may be not so enthusiastic, he feels compelled to support him due to the failures of the Biden administration. He said, I'm not an enthusiastic vote. I'm left with no alternative. And listen, there is no alternative. We right the ship with Trump or we get 4 more years of Biden. He wrote a memo to GOP donors conceding that despite previously stating he would never support Trump after the events that took place on January 6th, he would now be supporting Trump in the upcoming election. He wrote, the adage of never say never is a wise one. That's what he put in his memo. I think a lot of people are waking up to this realization. If you don't like Trump, would you prefer Biden? And many people go, probably not. Probably not. There's more people lining up, too. Some Republicans, such as supporters of Nikki Haley's, remain skeptical of Trump, but the alternative of a second Biden term is just too much for voters to just stay home on Election Day. Marilis Pompa, an Iowa GOP operative who endorsed Haley during the state's caucus, suggested that despite Trump not reaching out to Haley supporters, the reality of a Biden presidency may lead many to support Trump based on policy alignment. She said, when the hardcore reality sets in, I'm going to vote for Trump because his policies are right. And I think that the hardcore reality is setting in for a lot of never Trumpers. In fact, the fundraising has been full swing. Trump was smashing records. He raised over $50.5 million at a Palm Beach dinner over the weekend. And that's a lot of coin, a lot of money.
Trump is calling it the biggest night in fundraising history. The fundraiser at hedge fund billionaire John Paulson's home raked in over $50 million, according to the RNC. That's up from early estimates of $43 million and nearly double what President Biden raised at his New York City fundraiser with former Presidents Obama and Clinton. This was the first major fundraiser for Trump and the RNC.
He doubled what 3 presidents could do in New York City. Whew.
Since he became the party's presumptive presidential nominee, Trump said his supporters are contributing to a cause that will restore faith in our country.
People are just wanting change. The rich people want it, poor people want it. Everybody wants change. The country is really doing poorly. We're a laughing stock all over the world, and we're going to get that change very quickly.
He went on Truth Social, and Trump posted, biggest night in fundraising of all time. We'll double up the Biden number of last week at Radio City. People are desperate for change. They want to make America great again. DJT. And this is a big deal. And it's making the left absolutely seethe. Biden, he slammed the Trump fundraiser. They said, oh, he's doing it with hedge fund billionaires. This is, again, a week after he pulled out all the stops with extra presidents and Lizzo at Radio City Music Hall. Biden went after Trump's Saturday high dollar fundraiser, dissing it as a bunch of hedge fund billionaires. He goes, this campaign is Scranton versus Palm Beach. That's what he said in a video posted to Twitter. I love how he's always Scranton Joe when it's convenient to him. In fact, Joe Biden, when it's convenient to him, he's whatever, whoever he's in the room with. He was raised in a Puerto Rican community. He was raised in a Jewish community. He was raised in an African-American church. He was raised, the new one was the Greeks. He was basically raised in a Greek community. In fact, Biden, I guess you could say, he's been raised in every community.
I was sort of raised in the Puerto Rican community. I had a very close relationship with the Greek American community, for real. I am Joe Bidenopoulos. I grew up in a heavily Irish Catholic community in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and a heavily Italian Polish community. When I say I got raised in the black church, he knows I'm not kidding. The Persian culture is amazing. As a student of the Persian culture, I probably went to shul more than many of you. I come out of the black community. The background of my family is Irish American, not fundamentally unlike the Palestinian people. I, you might say, raised in the synagogues of my state. Everyone in town was either Polish or Italian. I grew up feeling self-conscious. My name didn't end in an SKI. I was raised in a neighborhood where I felt self-conscious. My name didn't end in O.
This goes on and on and on. You know, his campaign is Scranton, but he's been saying that he's from everywhere, depending on who's in the room.
That's kind of how I was raised, like so many Americans of Irish heritage.
In HBCU in your home state, Mr. President.
Let me tell you, forget about it. That's right. That's where I got raised, man.
Just like rabbis, synagogues, and Jewish community centers in your hometowns, and that's the tradition I got raised. Hard-working people, the middle class, the neighborhoods I got raised in. I was raised on GM. I was raised by Danny Inouye. I was raised by a righteous Christian. I got raised on automobiles.
That's Joe Biden. He was raised on everything. Bill in Nashville, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Bill?
Hey, Chris. Listen, what I wanted to ask was, I hear every day how much money the Republican, conservative, whatever, have taken in to better the Democratic draw for this next election. What I want to hear is someone, tell me in detail what in God's name the Republican, Conservative Party, whatever, have done to ensure a fair election. You saw that local election in Chicago where the pro-police candidate was up by, 9,000 points, and all of a sudden overnight, miraculously, there were 10,000 mail-in ballots discovered, which obviously, threw the race for the incumbent. As far as I'm concerned, not a damn thing. What have the Republicans done to ensure a fair election? Which is nothing.
Well, I mean, we're definitely we're definitely ramping up ballot harvesting, vote chasing, voter registration, and Michael Whatley, who's one of the RNC's new co-chairs with Laura Trump, he's saying that they have lawyers on the ground in every major swing state. And they're training people up. I mean, there's definitely a lot happening. There's not a lot of talk about what's happening, but it is being done.
Well, I guess I'll have to see it to actually believe it. I think both parties are complicit in everything that's going on. This is a uniparty government. I beg or I pray for a viable third-party candidate one day. Probably won't see it in my lifetime, but
I mean, I think we have to realize that Trump is a third-party candidate. I mean, the establishment Republicans don't want him, and the Democrats definitely don't want him.
I do understand that, but when I say viable, I'm talking about Trump was a very successful third-party candidate, and his record proves that. That being said, he had almost as many enemies on the Republican side of the aisle as he did the Democratic side of the aisle. I don't know. This term limits. That's to me, that's the only thing that actually fixes anything.
I mean, I hear you, and I totally get your frustration, but I will say, the newly installed Republican National Committee chairman, co-chairman Michael Whatley, on Saturday, he says that they're going to have poll workers in the room when early votes are cast and counted in November. The Hill reported that Whatley said the RNC is going to ensure that each state has a good rules of the road and thousands of attorneys present when votes are being cast to make sure ballots are protected. He said he wants to make sure that every state is good on the rules of the road, and they're definitely doing things. They're definitely ramping up, again, voter registration, ballot harvesting, mail-in ballots, all the things. But Michael Whatley said you have to be in the room. You have to have observers and attorneys in the room when the votes are being cast and when the votes are being counted. So we're in the process of recruiting tens of thousands of volunteers, thousands of attorneys all across the country so that when we get into the election season, we're going to be in the room. Is it going to be too little too late? Time will tell, but they are doing something. I'll just give you that. It's 9:53 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, and I want to tell you about my friend Paul Winkler and Paul Winkler Inc. You probably know Paul. Maybe you heard his show, the Investor Coaching Show, over the weekend. It runs on WTN every Saturday from 3 to 6. I think he's been hosting the show for 20 years now. It's insane. But you may not know that he started that show after he spent time studying under an economist who went on to win a Nobel Prize. That is pretty cool. And he's an avid collector of financial planning designations. He has up to 8 now. That's one of the reasons my wife and I work with Paul. We heard him on WTN way before I got my show here. And when I came on board, his was the firm I wanted to work with. And here's why. They hold themselves to the highest level of fiduciary status. Because of that standard they hold themselves to, I have to tell you, I get paid when I do these commercials. That's the law. But one of the reasons I decided to become a client, they don't pay me to be a client, I decided to become a client, is because the team does nothing on commission. That's so important. Because when they're helping you make financial decisions for your future, you know it's for yours and not theirs because nothing is done on commission. And they'll educate you along the way so you never get that uneasy feeling of blind trust, that pit in your stomach where you're not really sure why you're doing what you're doing. The team at Paul Winkler Inc. will look at your whole financial picture, educate you, and then help you make decisions. Set up a 15-minute phone call today. You will not be disappointed. Just go to paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandison. I love My Patriot Supply. It's emergency food so you can care for your family no matter what. And today, we're fixing creamy chicken flavored rice. And the thing I love about My Patriot Supply, it's easy. You just get the water, turn on the heat, and in minutes, we are ready to go. Now, this food lasts for 25 years in special packaging, and yes, it does taste great. And in just minutes, it's ready to eat. Patriots don't rely on the government to take care of their family in emergencies. It's up to you. Order right now and get $200 off a 3-month food kit. It's important to go to preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. That's preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. Preparewithmandis.com. $200 off a 3-month food kit. What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation.
Ten o'clock on the dot this Monday morning. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, counting down to the solar eclipse. And right now, traffic heading west out of Nashville backing up. Folks on I-24 trying to get to totality. Full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Here's David Muir with what you need to know if it's not cloudy and you can see the event.
You really want to be careful with your eyes. You know, they say this every several years when we actually witness one of these eclipses, but you want those eclipse glasses. They're thousands of times darker than your typical pair of sunglasses. You know, your retina doesn't sense pain actually when you're looking up at the sun, so your eye will not know, won't send messages of the damage you're doing. So really be careful with your family out there today.
Yeah, even if you're not directly in the path of totality, which will be wider this time than what we've seen before. Scientists say about 99% of Americans across the country will witness something today. Lots of breaking entertainment news. Morgan Wallen facing felony charges for allegedly tossing a chair from the roof of Eric Church's bar overnight. The chair landing just a few feet away from 2 Metro cops. Wallen booked on reckless endangerment, disorderly conduct charges. Elsewhere, Derek Dennis says it is sentencing day for Creed actor Jonathan Majors getting probation instead of jail time after being convicted of assault.
The 34-year-old was convicted of misdemeanor third-degree assault and second-degree harassment stemming from a March 2023 altercation with his then-girlfriend Grace Jabari in an SUV in Manhattan. Jabari is suing the actor separately for defamation and other alleged injuries she says she sustained. The actor has lost work since his conviction, including his starring role in Marvel Productions owned by Disney, the parent company of ABC News.
Yeah, former President Donald Trump clarifying his stand on abortion in a 4-minute video on social media today.
The states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land. In this case, the law of the state.
Trump stopped short of calling for a nationwide ban at a set number of weeks. And the Vatican today declaring sex change operations and surrogacy as, quote, grave threats to human dignity. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
.10:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Mac Morey producing, Ken Weaver in the newsroom, and you on the phone lines and the Members Nutrition text line at 615-737-9986. So Trump brings in a record haul, $50.5 million fundraising over the weekend. And the Dems, they're not happy about it. Biden slams the Trump fundraiser after he basically just did, the exact same thing. Biden wasn't impressed. Democrats coming out left and right saying, yeah, well, but you know who supports him, right? These aren't good people. He's fundraising off of billionaires, scammers, extremists, and racists. That's at least what the junior spokesman on the Biden campaign, Michael Tyler, had to say. He wasn't very impressed with the fundraising haul, and he was throwing around a lot of name calling.
I think it stands in stark contrast to the lack of fundraising that you see out of the Trump campaign. But as important is how they are raising it. He's down in Mar-a-Lago tonight with a bunch of billionaires, people like John Paulson, who not only wants to cut Social Security, but he's famous for, as a hedge funder, rooting against the American economy, betting against the American economy. So I guess it's no surprise that he's investing in somebody like Donald Trump, who's rooting for the economy to crash. But the whole lot of them is a bunch of billionaire scammers, extremists, and racists.
I love how he doubles down on the hoax. Oh, the hoax. Trump wants the economy to crash. Like, no, he wants to fix the country. He's fundraising with billionaires, scammers, extremists, and racists. It's like, didn't Joe Biden share the stage with a man who was proven to go to Epstein's pedophile island? Right? Am I missing something?
Bingo.
Okay. Because I'm very confused. Who are you fundraising with? Didn't Joe Biden eulogize Robert Byrd? Isn't that pretty sure he did? But yeah, it's Trump fundraising off billionaires, scammers, extremists, and racists. I find it extreme when the left wants to dismantle the nuclear family and put pornographic books in public schools. But Trump is fundraising off the extremists. But then listen, if that wasn't bad enough, the junior campaign spokesman Michael Tyler also says, listen, Americans voted for Biden to take on complex situations.
The fact that the American people elected him in the first place because he has the wisdom, the judgment, and the temperament to take on difficult, complex situations like the one that we're facing in the Middle East. And we believe that stands in stark contrast to Donald Trump, who we saw the way that he governed and we see the way that he's campaigning, and he is not demonstrating the temperament, the judgment, the wherewithal to do anything like handle situations like this.
Isn't Trump the one that didn't start any new wars, had the economy booming? Am I confusing him with something else?
Whether it's abroad or here at home. And so that is a contrast that we're going to present to the American people every single day between now and November.
Hey, keep presenting it, sir. Keep presenting it. We're excited to hear all the new points that you can come up with as you continue down on this campaign. But it wasn't just this junior campaign spokesman, Michael Tyler. It seemed like every Biden surrogate was out trying to demonize the fact that Trump raised a bunch of money. In fact, there was a Democrat rep, Dan Kildee, he's out of Michigan. He says, all Trump is campaigning on is bigotry. He focuses on immigration because he's campaigning on bigotry.
This is really a question about who we are as Americans. We are a nation of immigrants, but what Donald Trump is trying to do in the name of his own political expediency is to normalize bigotry again, to make it okay to hold those bigoted views and to try to motivate people to act on the worst instincts that they all carry inside them. And unfortunately, what he's doing is deciding that that's going to be the focus of his campaign.
It's amazing to me, but it's also a little bit energizing because all that they have in the Biden campaign to go on is, did we mention Trump's a racist? And I feel like at this point in America, everybody sees through that. The left has devalued the term racist so much since 2015 that is wallpaper now. That is just noise. Nobody believes it. And just repeating it over and over and over again doesn't make it true. It doesn't stop the left from using it as their angle. In fact, it's probably their only angle that they have. There was another Biden surrogate, Robert Garcia. He's talking about the bridge collapse in Baltimore, and he's kind of further pushing the animal hoax, trying to keep the animals hoax alive. And he says Trump is referring to immigrants on the Baltimore Bridge as animals. and Trump and his supporters should be ashamed.
It's really shameful. It's disgusting. I think what he has done to the immigration conversation has really set us back as a country. I mean, those men that died on that bridge are heroes. Those are the kind of men that I grew up with. I mean, I'm an immigrant. I came here as a young kid, come from a family of working class immigrants. And just to see folks from my family, like these men being demonized by a former president, by the Republican nominee for president, it is just disgusting. And Donald Trump and all of his supporters should be ashamed of themselves.
Oh, we should be ashamed. We should be ashamed that we refer to pedophiles and murderers and rapists as animals. How dare you? You know, and they can keep up with these talking points and they can keep saying we should be ashamed. How dare we? We're referring to immigrants that were on the bridge stopping traffic in Baltimore, which Trump wasn't. But they can keep pushing these talking points all they want. The fact of the matter is it's not working. And as states spend millions and millions and millions for illegal aliens, immigration is becoming the top issue. Another state where this is the top election issue is Colorado. Colorado is spending boatloads of money for illegal aliens. And a recent poll finds that the issue of illegal immigration is now the top issue in Colorado. The state is drowning in tens of millions of dollars spent for Joe Biden's illegal border crossers. A statewide poll in Colorado shows that Joe Biden's border crisis is weighing heavily on the minds of Coloradoans. The poll conducted by the Colorado Polling Institute quizzed 632 likely voters in the Centennial State on what they feel are the most important issues of the 2024 election. Illegal immigration topped the list, with those surveyed saying it was the most important issue. Homelessness came in at number 2, which is, it's so funny because homelessness really is a kindred issue to that of the influx of illegal aliens. You know, you get a lot of illegal aliens, they end up camping on the sides of the streets. Republican pollster Lori Weigel of New Bridge Strategy said immigration emerging as a top issue among voters in Colorado follows the trends that we're seeing in research nationally. Given the numbers of new arrivals in Denver, it's not surprising to see in our survey that 66% of respondents in the Denver metro area view the issue as a crisis or major problem. But even 57% elsewhere in the state said the exact same. So they can demonize us and call us racist for pushing this, which is just hot garbage. But the fact remains, people are viewing this as the biggest issue of 2024. Denver, in particular, is engulfed in a sea of Joe Biden's illegal immigrants. They have more than 40,000 arriving in the city last year at a cost of $63 million in tax dollars spent on giving them housing, food, clothing, medical care, legal care, education, and more. The Gazette in Denver further notes that city taxpayers are on the hook for the lion's share of those expenditures after federal sources have only reimbursed Denver to the tune of $14 million. Denver officials are also put upon that some have been caught on video pleading with migrants to turn around and abandon plans to stay in Denver. Dan covered this story last week. There was a newly appointed newcomer communications liaison, Andres Carrera, who was seen recorded on a video in Denver in one of the main city shelters, pleading with migrants to take paid trips to Chicago or New York City. I mean, listen, when the government it is costing your city $63 million in tax dollars because of the illegal aliens they're allowing in, and then they're only reimbursing Denver to the tune of $14 million. It's no shock that officials there are like, hey, it's probably cheaper to just send them to Chicago or New York. This is what we're seeing in so many places. It's no surprise that they're leaning on the racism card. It's no surprise that they're leaning on the bigotry card. But it's not going to work, is the issue. It's not going to work because people see what's going on. And we see it every day with headlines like this. 4 migrants held hostage in Houston, human smuggling stash house, 350 miles from border. So in Houston, Texas, the FBI raided a house, and it led to the rescue of 4 illegal aliens being held for ransom by suspected human smugglers in southeast Houston earlier in April. The alleged smugglers demanded $15,000 from family members for the release of these illegal aliens, a victim's family member reported. So it was March 27th. A woman walked into the Houston Police Department precinct office and said her boyfriend had been kidnapped, according to a report by Fox 26 Houston. She said that he traveled to Mexico to visit a sick family member when he attempted to return to Texas by illegally crossing the border ports of entry. Suspected human smugglers allegedly kidnapped him and demanded $15,000 for his release. There are 3 other people being held in this smuggling operation. But this is what's happening at the border. It's becoming big business. People are tired of it. Police managed to trace a call from the kidnappers to the victim's family, located the stash house in Houston, which was identified as a short-term rental property, and then they raided the place. Thank goodness that they did so. They traced the phone call on April 1st. The FBI contacted the owner of the home short-term rental property, who advised them they had Nest cams installed on the property. The owner provided the FBI with a live feed to the cameras. 2 days later, the FBI hostage rescue team entered the home, rescued the migrants being held for ransom, and the FBI were told that the kidnappers physically abused them, held guns to his head, and on at least one occasion threatened to kill him. Police arrested 4 suspected kidnappers at the scene. The suspects were identified. The entire court documentation is available on Fox 26's website, which is the local Houston affiliate there. But the FBI says this is a part of a large-scale investigation, and they can't release any more information on what happened inside the house or the status of the potential victims. But we're seeing this in so many places. And when we're not hearing about the human smugglers being busted, we're hearing that there's major crime tied to cartels. In Houston, there was a car theft ring tied to a Mexican terrorist drug cartel. They did a 6-month investigation, and it led to a series of raids on Mexican cartel-connected chop shops in the Houston Metroplex this week. The raids led to the seizure of more than $1 million in stolen vehicles. Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez posted the photos on Twitter showing the chop shop operations, and then said that the auto theft ring has possible ties to the cartels. So is it shocking when these are the major issues among voters in the country? Is it shocking when the Biden administration leans on racism and bigotry when they refer to Donald Trump calling pedophiles, murderers, kidnappers, human smugglers as animals? Of course not. So many people realize that this is the biggest issue we're facing, including on the left. So they have to try and change the narrative and shift what people are talking about. Because if you listen to the surrogates on the left for the Biden campaign, they just say that he's campaigning on bigotry. It's amazing that they keep doing this. Again, Dem Rep Dan Kildee out of Michigan says that all Trump is campaigning on is bigotry.
This is really a question about who we are as Americans. We are a nation of immigrants. But what Donald Trump is trying to do, in the name of his own political expediency, is to normalize bigotry again, to make it okay to hold those bigoted views.
I don't think Donald Trump is trying to normalize bigotry. I think he's trying to normalize having a secure border. And Americans want that and need that above all else. Meanwhile, our politicians in D.C., they're far more worried about Ukraine's border. But the left here, they call us racist and bigots for wanting to secure our own.
And to try to motivate people to act on the worst instincts that they all carry inside them. And unfortunately, what he's doing is deciding that that's going to be the focus of his campaign.
Yeah, well, the border is going to be the focus of the campaign. Unfortunately, what the left is doing is they're trying to make that a racism issue. They're trying to make that a bigotry issue, when really It's a security for all Americans issue. It's 1021 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, and I'm here to tell you about my friends at membersnutrition.com. You've heard all of us talking about membersnutrition.com. Matt Murphy talks about it. Dan Mandis is now talking about it. They're all on the membersnutrition.com train because your health is your number one priority. And it's on you to make sure that you're keeping yourself healthy. Nobody's going to do that for you, but when you're trying to do this, you're paying huge prices at the big box retail stores. You don't know where those vitamins and supplements are coming from when you buy them at the big box stores. All that changed because of membersnutrition.com. Members Nutrition is bringing affordable and quality supplements to you at a fraction of normal retail cost. And all of them at membersnutrition.com are made right here in the USA, no matter what type of supplement you're in the market for. Immunity, weight loss, detox, men's health, women's health, relaxation supplements. They have it all. I take one for energy every single morning from membersnutrition.com. You can do that too. They're so proud of their supplements that you can get an extra 50% off by becoming a member at membersnutrition.com off of those already discounted prices. Go there now. Take your health into your own hands at membersnutrition.com. That's membersnutrition.com.
Traffic backed up by the Eclipse. President Biden to give out more student loan debt relief. Morgan Wallen in trouble with the law. And Jonathan Majors, a promising actor, learns his fate for an assault conviction involving his ex-girlfriend. These stories and more at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is 10:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We were talking about how, if you want a secure border, you're actually just a racist and a bigot, according to the left. And Cecil in Knoxville wants to comment on that. Cecil, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, my man? I was just listening to the commentary you were giving, right on point. Anytime you sit down with anybody who's a Democrat or liberal, whatever you want to name them, and, you know, they go hollering about racist, you know, Trump's a racist, Trump this, you know. Once you try and sit down and actually have a conversation with somebody about the actual issues that are going on, they're silent. And they try and get out of the conversation. It's like they're repeating like they're a broken record.
Yep.
You know, I believe it's there's an individual by the name of the Great One. If you know who the Great One is, you know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
He said about 15 years ago, I used to listen to him when I worked in the coal mines. He said, it is every American's duty. You can't call yourself an American unless you're an informed, aggressive citizen. That means to be informed on the issues, know what's going on, and be able to articulate what you're basically talking about. And this is what the left has got away from. They're most people, I believe, they're just lazy. They're going by the talking points that happen on CNN. They're going by the talking points, you know, that happens with, you know, the news, the liberal media up in New York and everything. And they're not taking the time to actually get out and do the homework, though. But from most of the people that I've been talking to and what I've been seeing, especially out in these rural areas when we're delivering freight and stuff to these stores and stuff, what I've been noticing is this. Even with limited internet access, you still see people with Trump signs on bars. They're in their yard.
Yep.
People out in rural areas and everything, they're getting the message, even with limited resources and getting it. And so they can play all the identity politics they want. You know, Joe Biden, you know, he did not honor his oath of office. It's his job, his sworn job, to secure our border.
Amen.
Against all enemies, foreign and nothing. So he's not even doing that. So it's, hey, man, you know, keep doing what you're doing. I love your program. Just keep informing Americans, man. And when you come across people, man, that, you know, that want to go hollering about Trump's or racist, Trump's this and that, these are just people they're not informed.
Hey, I appreciate you, Cecil. For me, man, this it honestly energizes me and feels like we're moving in the right direction. If the only thing that they can hang their hat on is Trump's a racist, then they're losing so hard.
So hard.
You know what I mean?
They can't have. You know what? And I'll be honest with you. I did a interview one time with some people from Warner Brother out of Sweden one time. And they were asking me about Trump. Actually, before he even got in office, I was pro-Trump, but even before he even started running. When he came down the escalator and announced his presidency, I was already pro-Trump. And the people from Sweden who represent Warner Brothers, they were saying, well, don't you think Trump's a racist? I said, I can care less. I love his policies. Policies. I mean, if he's a racist, okay, well, his racist policies are going to help all Americans.
Well, and it kills me, though, because it's like the policies of the left hurt urban communities first. You know what I mean? When you're flooding Chicago and New York with illegal aliens, that's not helping the urban communities in those areas.
You've got people in Alabama. I'm originally from Alabama, a small town called Alabasta in Birmingham, Alabama. Mm-hmm. You've got people, man, that have limited education, and they're now taking the streets. Matter of fact, I talked to one of my best friends. He works at Birmingham Southern College up there. He's telling me you'd be surprised at the people on the inner cities that are taking to the streets protesting in these Democratic-ran cities and everything about they're talking about, you know, reparations, you know, the 40 acres in the move, they haven't got that, but yet the illegals are coming in and getting all that. And we've said it a long time ago. When you look at immigration, even if you don't like Trump, if you look at immigration, the worst demographic that it hurts is African Americans.
Yep.
African Americans, you know, we only make up 14% of the voting rate. I mean, we don't have enough votes to be able to put somebody in office and anything, though, but, I mean, we still have a voice at some point.
Yeah. Absolutely, and it's definitely hurting African Americans first. Hey, Cecil, man, I appreciate your call. You're welcome here anytime, brother.
Thank you.
Hey, man, have a good rest of your day. It is 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Ken Weaver with the latest headlines.
Counting down to the solar eclipse, many Americans getting the chance to see a total eclipse. Right now, traffic heading northwest out of Nashville on 24. Bumper to bumper at times, presumably people trying to get to totality, but it still may be covered up by clouds there. Full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. President Biden today expected to announce a new student debt relief plan aimed at giving relief to 25 million who owe more than they borrowed or who are paying decades-old loans. Entertainment news.
Pour me Pour me another drink.
Country singer Morgan Wallen facing felony charges of reckless endangerment and disorderly conduct after he allegedly threw a chair from the roof of Eric Church's bar on Lower Broad overnight. And Marvel actor Jonathan Majors avoids prison time but will have to complete a 52-week batterer's intervention program stemming from an assault conviction involving his ex-girlfriend Grace Jabari. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The Biden campaign focusing on the fact that Trump he's a racist. He's a bigot. But they don't focus on the fact that all they do is lie to us, and that's why people are really turning away from them in droves. Did you hear Jim Cramer on is it MSNBC or CNBC? I think it's CNBC. Jim Cramer, the investing guy.
I think you're right.
Yeah. I think I'm right too. Well, he said they were talking about the jobs numbers. And Jim Cramer's like, I don't believe the jobs numbers.
Oh, wow.
And he brought up how many work permits are we giving to the illegal aliens that are coming across the border, which I thought was an absolutely base take.
Will you please disclose how many work permits you've issued? We don't know. The economists don't know. We also don't know what's the real numbers because the Census Bureau has not accounted for immigrants properly. Can you give us a sense on work permits right here, right now?
Yeah, so I can't give you any specific numbers. I'm looking at the jobs market from this morning. You're looking at the same numbers. What we see is that the employment to population ratio is very strong.
Oh, it's the employment to population ratio is very strong. We can't give you any numbers on how many work permits we've given to migrants. Isn't that amazing how that always works out? Oh, no. Trust us. Just trust us. Even Jim Cramer's like, it's getting harder and harder to trust you. And I feel like the American population is looking at the left and going, it's really getting harder and harder to trust you guys. You lie to us constantly. From the moment Trump took office with Russia collusion. And you know what? In 2016, when the Russia collusion stuff happened, most Republicans said, well, show us some evidence and let's look at this thing. It was a hoax. And then there was hoax after hoax after hoax. The left-wing media and politicians told us that the Hunter Biden laptop wasn't real. How can we believe anything that comes out of the Biden administration? Spoiler alert, you can't. The only thing that you can honestly believe is when they tell you openly that they're scared. Vanity Fair ran an article. And does anybody read Vanity Fair anymore? Probably not, right? That's just like doctor's office, dentist office, tabletop magazines now. Is that their subscription base? It's probably like the same as like back when CNN had the airports. But Vanity Fair wrote an article complaining about the Trump 2024 campaign. And they said it's terrifyingly competent. That's what I believe, that they're telling us the truth. So Vanity Fair wrote this article that they have a problem with Trump's campaign. It's just too good. So Gabriel Sherman is the guy that wrote this article, and he attests that Trump has a strong, competent, efficient team running his campaign for a second term in office. How worried should you be, he asks. Very. He then goes on to complain that even Trump's legal troubles aren't enough to derail the campaign. In fact, the legal peril has only bolstered his support, as evidenced by reaction to his mugshot, which was that was taken when he was booked and arraigned in Fulton County, Georgia. They talk about DA Fani Willis and how to Democrats and the fraction of Republicans horrified by the idea of a second Trump administration, the mugshot symbolized his dangerous criminality. For MAGA and the majority of GOP voters, it would be visual proof of Trump's persecution by the deep state. The mugshot merch brought some $7 million into the campaign coffers. But they say if Trump wins back the White House, his increasingly extreme and violent rhetoric is poised to become policy. This is what they do. He goes on to write, while his 2016 agenda was frequently stymied by infighting and incompetence, available signs point to a second West Wing staffed by loyalists who would actually carry out his policies. The takeover of the RNC, which Trump recently completed, installing his daughter-in-law, Laura, as co-chair, is blueprint to keep in mind. This definitely scares them. I mean, in the first Trump administration, we had all sorts of people in there that we don't like. I mean, John Bolton was in the first Trump administration. And he had to put in some establishment Republicans because he was trying to make nice, right? In 2024, all bets are off. And I would be nervous that Trump is going to go all in on the policies he wants and that the team he brings is going to put in the policies he wants because he's not running again. He has nothing to worry about except fixing the country. But it scares them. And they say he's a racist and he's a bigot. But if that's not bad enough for Vanity Fair, Jason Miller, who's Trump's senior campaign advisor, told the writer Sherman that President Trump knows who can deliver and who can't. The backstabbers who were around in 2016 won't be in this next White House. In other words, Trump is popular in his base. He took almost half the vote in 2020. His support has not waned during the Biden administration, and now he's got a campaign team that is competent, loyal, strong, and focused. And I would argue, not only has his support not waned during the Biden administration, it has grown. So for Vanity Fair and this writer Gabrielle Sherman and many Democrats, this is like scaring them. They are actually terrified about this. They truly are. And they're not hiding it. And they'll say, our president's very competent. He's very competent. But then they turn around and say, but Trump is a racist, and that's why we can't let him in. Because the Trump support is huge, and they know that. They have internal polling to show that. Doug Burgum was on Fox News over the weekend talking about the support that Trump has.
When I've had a chance to go around the country in recent weeks, in places like Clark County, Nevada, the voter intensity and support for President Trump is deep. And as you know, it cuts across, all demographics we're seeing right now.
Wait, it cuts across demographics? How could people support Trump? I thought the left told me he's a racist and a bigot.
Trump is winning with groups that he was by larger margins than he ever has been before. But part of it is because the citizen, the average person that's working, they know that under Joe Biden's inflation, if they've got savings, they've lost 30% of its value, and they know that it's costing more to put food on the table, gas in their car, pay for their electric bill.
Yeah, it does. Grocery prices are absolutely insane in the Biden administration.
The struggle is real for Americans who have been experiencing rising grocery prices for years.
Everything has gotten more and more and more expensive.
My gosh, do I have a coupon? A new report from the Wall Street Journal shows $100 at the grocery store just doesn't go as far as it did 5 years ago. Today, that same grocery list costs 36.5% more.
36.5% more. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Doug Burgum also mentioned people are upset about the raising energy prices. I will say this, Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm, she had a good counterpoint to that. I hadn't thought of this. It turns out that your energy bills are not going up because of Biden's policies. They've been going up because of climate change.
People will say, oh, my power bill is constantly going up. What do you say to people here in Georgia who may feel that frustration?
You're seeing the impacts really of climate change on people's heating bills, not just in Georgia, but around the country.
So, did you know that it was climate change is making your heating bill go up? It's good to know. We want all the information as we head into 2024, right? And it's funny, though, on a lot of the polling I look at, what's the major issue for you in 2024? I see border. I see economy. I don't really see climate change. It doesn't seem like that's the biggest issue. But Doug Burgum continues on Trump's support.
So they understand. They understand that they were better off under President Trump than they are right now under Joe Biden. And these voters, they trust President Trump on the border. They trust him on the economy. They trust that he's going to be tough on China. They trust that he's going to help make our cities safer.
Yeah, because he's done it all already. He had the border secure. He had the economy booming. He was being tough on China. The current administration says that we're not even going to try to decouple from China. Janet Yellen said this the other day. She says, listen, we're not decoupling from China.
The United States will pursue a healthy economic relationship with China. We will seek to cooperate with China on global challenges, and we will deploy our economic tools when needed and in a narrowly targeted manner to protect our national security and that of our allies, as well as human rights. President Biden and I firmly reject the idea that the United States should decouple from China.
Okay, so we're not decoupling from China either. Are you hearing what another 4 years under Joe Biden would look like? Another 4 years under Joe Biden is going to look like more raising prices, less border security, more Chinese dependence. Is that the future you want?
They trust him that he's going to be able to stop the wars. And so on all the things that matter to voters right now, President Trump is winning.
Yeah, all the things that matter to voters right now, President Trump is winning, which is why they're resorting to name calling, which is why they're resorting to identity politics, because they have nothing else to lean on. In fact, there's a memo that went out. This is fascinating. We covered Kamala Harris's voter registration push that the Dems are going to be doing. The Dems are going to be focusing on voter registration. Well, there was a memo that leaked, and in this memo, they cover the fact that Democrats are actually nervous registering voters, and Fox News is reporting that they're being ripped for admitting the quiet part out loud because they're worried that their key strategy of registering more voters could help Trump. An internal memo showing panic within the Democratic Party over its nonpartisan voter registration efforts, potentially helping former President Trump, is drawing criticism from those who say the registration efforts were a partisan scam from the start. So Democrats across the country have become increasingly concerned over the amount of support Trump is pulling from usually reliable demographics and donors. And they've been bickering over an internal memo casting doubt on whether the party should continue using nonprofits to register unregistered voters over fears it could help Trump. So the Washington Post had this report where they said, indeed, if we were to blindly register non-voters and get them on the rolls, we would be distinctly aiding Trump's quest for a personal dictatorship, the memo explained. Oh, yes, the dictatorship. It drives me nuts that the man can say a joke one time and they just run with it. He said he's going to be a dictator. The memo explained, casting doubt on longstanding Democrat voter registration push that has typically resulted in favorable results in previous elections. The memo argues that Democrats should focus their registration efforts only in specifically heavily pro-Biden populations. And the Washington Post explained that the rise in Trump support among non-registered voters has run up against a long-held Democratic policy of priority of growing the voter rolls. So they're registering voters, and they're like, oh, getting a lot of Trump ones. Some political analysts claimed the Washington Post articles show that the Democrat registration efforts that are labeled nonpartisan are, in fact, working solely to register Democrats. And, of course, that was always the plan. But I think it's fun to realize that the plan is backfiring because even when they go where they think would be Democrats, they're registering Republicans. And they're admitting it out loud. Left-wing strategists, so Jason Sneed, executive director of Honest Elections Project, told Fox News Digital, left-wing strategists accidentally said the quiet part out loud. Their nonpartisan left-wing voter registration efforts have always been highly partisan operations designed to help Democrats. And this admission raises grave questions about other programs that the left also claims are nonpartisan, including President Biden's executive order of using taxpayer money to mobilize liberal voters. The press should take note of and remember this rare moment of honesty from the left the next time they cry voter suppression. Democrat donors are now getting memos telling them to stop funding voter registration nonprofits because unregistered voters lean towards Trump. That's what investigative researcher Parker Thayer said on Twitter in a response to the report. He added, it's all a partisan scam. I think that what Republicans should take from this is lean in and register as many voters as you can. People are so tired of the direction of this country that even when you go to Democrat strongholds to register voters, it's not working out. Gallup polling this year showed Democrats currently hold the lowest lead that they have had with black voters over Republicans that they have ever had, dating back to when the polling began. And that their 12-point advantage over Republicans with Hispanic voters is the lowest since 2011. Polling is also showing that young adults are supporting Democrats at their lowest level in almost 2 decades. Not a shocker. Young adults just want to move out and get their own place, but they can't in this economy because it's unaffordable. It's 10:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. I love my Patriot Supply. It's emergency food so you can care for your family no matter what. And today, we're fixing creamy chicken flavored rice. And the thing I love about my Patriot Supply, it's easy. You just get the water, turn on the heat, and in minutes, we are ready to go. Now, this food lasts for 25 years in special packaging, and yes, it does taste great. And in just minutes, it's ready to eat. Patriots don't rely on the government to take care of their family in emergencies. It's up to you. Order right now and get $200 off a 3-month food kit. It's important to go to preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. That's preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. Preparewithmandis.com, $200 off a 3-month food kit.
Solar eclipse traffic backups. People heading northwest on 24. Well, now you have something else to deal with. There's road construction underway at mile marker 11 for everybody trying to get to totality. Country music star arrest. Marvel actor sentenced for assault. Trump clarifies abortion stance. Biden giving out more student debt relief, and the Vatican weighing in on sex change operations. All this and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Mac, we have a fact-check request for you.
Okay, I'm on it. My typing fingers are ready.
All right, so we played the clip. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm says that your power bill is going up because of climate change. Jason on the Members Nutrition text line is asking us if there is any way we can get Mac to fact-check that. So fact-check that, Mac.
On it.
In case you missed the clip, here is Energy Secretary blaming climate change.
People will say, "Oh, my power bill is constantly going up." What do you say to people here in Georgia who may feel that frustration?
You're seeing the impacts really of climate change on people's heating bills, not just in Georgia but around the country.
So can you can fact check that for me, Mac?
Yeah, I'm on it. Fact check, not true.
That was quick. That might be the quickest fact check we've gotten from you.
It's working.
We're getting conflicting information now.
All right. Sorry. Got another text here from 2840. He says, Chris, first-time texter, 2840. Welcome to the Members Nutrition text line. It's Chris, when she says climate change, you realize our bill statement always shows usage compared to previous year. Same usage, more expensive. That's not climate change.
Bingo.
So, differing reports, I guess, right?
That's all it is. Exactly. Conflicting reports.
It depends on who you're listening to. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Counting down to the solar eclipse. Traffic is heavy north of downtown. Presumably people driving to get to totality. And just another note there on 24, you're going to run into something else. Looks like road construction underway there at mile marker 11. It's expected just after 2 o'clock Middle Tennessee time this afternoon, but clouds could get in the way. Full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. One of Nashville's biggest stars is in trouble. Morgan Wallen facing felony reckless endangerment and disorderly conduct after allegedly throwing a chair from 6 stories atop Chief's Bar on Lower Broad overnight. Nearly landed on 2 Metro cops standing below. Meanwhile, a Hollywood star has learned his fate for an assault conviction. Here's Derek Dennis.
No jail time, but domestic violence and mental health counseling, plus a 52-week batterers intervention program for Hollywood actor Jonathan Majors. His sentencing in a New York City courtroom also included an order to stay away from the victim, his ex-girlfriend Grace Jabari. The 34-year-old actor was convicted in December of misdemeanor third-degree assault and second-degree harassment stemming from a March 2023 altercation with Jabari in an SUV in Manhattan. At his sentencing, the judge decided jail is not necessary for Majors as he appeared in court with his new girlfriend, actress Megan Good.
Former President Donald Trump clarifying his stand on abortion in a 4-minute video on Truth Social, saying it is up to the states. He stopped short of calling for a nationwide ban at a set number of weeks. President Biden today to announce a new student debt relief plan aimed at giving relief to 25 million who owe more than 20,000 borrowed or who are paying decades-old loans. And the Vatican declares sex change operations and surrogacy as grave threats to human dignity. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
11:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, Mac Maury producing, Ken Weaver in the newsroom, and you on the Members Nutrition text line and the phone lines. Same number, 615-737-9986. People are not happy on the Members Nutrition text line about the pothole patching on 24.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Lots of complaints, lots of frustration.
They're not happy.
Nope.
I feel for you guys. But luckily, you have us.
I mean, it is an interesting time and day to choose to do that, I will say.
Did they not know?
You think they'd know, right? I mean, or you would have found out and said, okay, let's reschedule.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I want potholes repaired too, though. So
do you?
I would.
Are you sure?
My 03 Lexus with old tires screaming yes, please.
All right, so I got a story here. It's which I think is pretty funny, and I hope it happens because I think it would be awesome. President Trump is daring judge in Alvin Bragg case to jail him for violating the gag order. So just to catch you up to speed, Trump has been put on a gag order, and he's been going at the judge in this case and his daughter, because his daughter had a picture of Trump behind bars as her social media picture. And on Saturday, Trump expressed that he would consider it a great honor to face imprisonment if he violated a gag order, signaling a heightened level of criticism directed towards New York Supreme Court Justice Juan Merchan and other judicial figures involved in the Alvin Bragg trial in New York. On Monday, Merchan, who is the judge presiding over the Trump hush money trial scheduled to commence on April 15th, broadened his gag order against Trump to encompass not only the judge's family, but also the family of Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Posting on his Truth Social account, Trump wrote, "Now we have Merchan, who is not allowing me to talk, thereby violating the law and Constitution all at once. It is so bad what he is trying to get away with. How was he even chosen for this case? I heard he fought like hell to get it, and all of the rest of them also. If this partisan hack wants to put me in the clink for speaking the open and obvious truth, I will gladly become a modern-day Nelson Mandela. It will be my great honor. We have to save our country from these political operatives masquerading as prosecutors and judges, and I am willing to sacrifice my freedom for that worthy cause. We are a failing nation, but on November 5th, we will become a great nation again. Make America great again." I hope it happens. I just want to see what this looks like in real time, because I don't think it's going to affect Trump's reelection chances. I just don't. In fact, I think if Trump got put in the clink, as he put it, the clink, where does that phrase come from? Is that from like the clink in the cup on the rail?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that what it's from?
Yeah, I think so. The clink.
Fact check that. If he's put in the clink, it's only going to help his chances. He's going to be even more attractive to so many people because they're going to realize he is being politically persecuted. So Merchan previously imposed a gag order on Trump, preventing him from discussing witnesses, lawyers, court staff, their families, after he made comments about the judge's daughter. Again, the judge's daughter, Lauren Merchan, is associated with left-leaning politics and has been involved in the Biden-Harris campaign. Her company, Authentic Campaigns, Inc., has received substantial funding from Democrat sources aimed at opposing Trump. So, like, they'll say it's the judge's daughter, and you immediately picture like a 10-year-old girl. This is a fully adult woman. She's also revealed to have that account on Twitter featuring a profile picture of Trump behind bars as if he were in prison. Media outlets portray her, Lauren Merchan, who's 34 years old, in a manner that undermines Trump's freedom of speech protected by the First Amendment. On Friday, President Trump filed a motion seeking recusal of the judge, Juan Merchan, due to his daughter's involvement in political activities. I mean, listen, if she's working and receiving funding from Democrat sources aiming to oppose Trump and her dad is the judge, is that not a reason to recuse? Can Trump get any fair trials in New York, period? I don't think so. I hope he keeps violating this gag order, and I hope that they try to put him in the clink. I would love to see what would happen if that went down. Could you imagine him campaigning from jail? I'm here for it. I'm here for the meltdown. I'm here for the polling numbers to go up, and I think that it would only help Donald Trump. I think that he should keep daring him to do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right?
I mean, at this point, yeah.
Like even with like the bond, like how he ended up getting 175 million bonds, so they didn't seize the buildings.
Yeah, instead of what was it, 450 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Seize the buildings. Imagine how bad that makes the political left look. Take it. By all means. Seize it. Put him in jail. By all means. And this is the same campaign, the Biden campaign goes, he's going to try and jail his political opponents. Imagine them saying that as Donald Trump is sitting in a jail cell for violating a gag order. It makes too much sense for me. Keep violating the gag order. Keep daring the judge to jail you. I fully support it. Fully support it. In fact, I think we need more tweets. 11:25 beat you to the fact check. The clink is the sound the lock makes on the jail doors.
I had already fact checked it. I was waiting for a good time to come in. Nope, too late.
Fact check that. I think you got beat to the punch.
Dang it.
Yeah, a couple people, the jail door being closed and locked. What am I picturing with the cup rattling the bars? People used to do that, right?
Yeah. It's. I think it's onomatopoeic. Yeah, it's based on the chains and the clinks of the cup and stuff like that. Yeah.
It's what?
Onomatopoeic instead of an onomatopoeia. It's onomatopoeic. It's. Yeah. Sorry, it's a Monday. I'm trying.
All right. You're doing great.
Widening everyone's lexicon one day at a time.
This is why you're here. Thank you, Mac.
I appreciate it.
All right, so there's other stuff happening in the election. Facebook and Instagram, they're going to be adding new labels ahead of the election. Made with AI is going to be the label.
Whoa.
Yep. If you're too dumb to know when something's artificial intelligence, right?
For yes, but also no.
My worry about this is that they're going to use it and slap it on something that ends up being real.
Yeah. No, 100%.
And it's just going to be, nope, that's made with AI. Don't worry about it.
I think for you and I, Chris, yes. For people our age, but I with my mom, I've had a couple instances where she shows me something. I'm like, Mom, that's AI. It's not real. And so I think for older generations who maybe aren't chronically online, it could be a little tougher.
Chronically, it is.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
It is chronically. I would like to point out that I'm a little bit more upset about some of the other changes that Facebook and Instagram have been making ahead of the election. I send my memes out. You get them in your inbox.
Of course, I do.
So what I do is I have a meme list. I forward them to all these people at Chris Hand on Air if you want to be on the meme list on Instagram or
prestigious
Twitter.
List.
It's a banger of a list. So, and then I got all sorts of ones. But anyway, they limited it to how many people you can forward a message to at a time. So it used to be unlimited. So I could hit the whole meme list.
Yeah. In one foul swoop. Bang, bang, bang,
boom,
bang.
Boom, 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 boom. Add everybody to the list. Send it out. Now I can only send it to 5 people at a time.
What?
Doesn't that feels like election interference?
Whoa. Wait. How'd we get
if I'm trying to share information and you're limiting who I can share it with, I'm not a fan. So they can do their nice little thing.
Now, you can share it with as many people as you want. I'm just trying. I don't know. I haven't seen.
They're wasting my time.
But now you have to do it. Yeah, I got you. In increments of 5. That is very frustrating.
I'd do 30 or 40 people. Boom.
How do you expect me to get the memes out to the meme list?
The people need the memes. It's not always just memes. A lot of times. Sometimes it's news.
I'll schedule Zuckerberg. We'll get him on.
You should.
Yeah, I'm on it.
If he wasn't such a robot, I would roast him. But yeah, so now Mark Zuckerberg's social media giant, as the New York Post puts it, will be applying a Made with AI label in May to AI-generated videos, images, and audio posted on its platform, expanding a policy that was previously addressed only a narrow slice of doctored videos. I don't like this at all. They'll move from one focused on removing a limited set of posts toward one that keeps the content up while providing viewers with information about how it was made. So they're not just going to take it down. They're just going to say this is fake. Meta previously announced a scheme to detect images made using other companies' generative AI tools using invisible markers built into the files, but did not give a start date at the time. The company spokesman told Reuters that the new labeling approach would apply to content posted on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. Anybody still using Threads?
Jeez, man.
Did anybody use Threads to begin with?
The first week it came out, I made one.
I made one too.
Yeah, and I don't think I've been on it since.
But then you're not allowed to delete it, or you delete your Instagram too.
Oh, is that really the case?
Yeah.
See, I hadn't even tried. I just kind of forgot the app existed.
Yep. It doesn't really exist, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like a tree falling in the woods. Facebook's other services, which are like WhatsApp, Quest virtual reality headsets, those are going to be covered by different rules. And Facebook, Instagram are going to be applying the more prominent high-risk labels immediately, the spokesperson said. These changes come months before a presidential election in November that tech researchers warn will be transformed by new generative AI technologies. Political campaigns have already begun deploying AI tools in places like Indonesia, pushing the boundaries of guidelines issued by providers like Meta and generative AI market leader OpenAI. Again, my biggest fear about this is that they're going to slap it on something that's real. And they're going to say this is AI. Or they'll slap it on everything, and then they won't slap it on one thing. Where they'll take like a quote from Trump, and they'll change one word. You know what I mean? Like it'll be so subtle. And you'll have a whole segment of the audience seeing one thing, and then a whole segment of the audience seeing another, and there'll be no label in those scenarios.
Yeah, and we already have some of that to some degree, and that could ramp it up to a whole new level that we have never seen. That'd be scary.
It's interesting to see what happens here. I'll be keeping my eyes on that. And then today also, Trump clarified his stance on abortion. Now, I made the point a couple weeks back now that I didn't think that there was any good that could come of this, him clarifying his stance on abortion. And he put out a statement, and he basically, the meat of the statement is that it's states' rights, right? Trump gave support for IVF treatment. He said, it's up to the people that and how they vote and what they decide, and it's a state issue. He didn't go full national ban, which I think is the smart move considering the climate we're in and that we have the election in front of us, and this is what the Democrats want to campaign on. But it didn't stop the left from sinking their teeth into it. In fact, the Biden-Harris campaign HQ, Biden HQ, is the Twitter. They've already clipped it out of context and are working this statement that Trump released, which is about 4 minutes in length, and they're clipping it to try and gin up support and get people wrestled up, so that way they can go fight for reproductive freedom, as they call it, right? But they took a 15-second clip out of that 4-minute statement and are using that.
Especially since I was proudly the person responsible for the ending of something that all legal scholars, both sides, wanted and, in fact, demanded be ended. Roe v. Wade. They wanted it ended.
So the Biden-Harris HQ Twitter account is using that clip out of context. And he says, it goes back to the states. It's now a states issue, and that's the way it should be, which I am fine with. A lot of people that are pro-life want this issue resolved immediately. But I think that we need to take a more tactful approach and realize the abortion issue was advanced incrementally. And so reversing it is going to be done incrementally. And we're trending in the right direction. We're taking the steps that we need to take. It's not going to be done overnight. It's not going to be done all at once. But we're getting there. We're getting there. It's 11:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I want to tell you about my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It is time. It's past time to get your AC serviced as we head into summer. It is going to be getting hot and staying there before we know it. And if you haven't gotten your system serviced the best way, the Busy Bee way with Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, you are waiting for a problem to pop up this time of year. And this time of year especially, you could be waiting for a problem with your heat or your AC because you're going to be kicking on the heat in the morning, kicking on the AC in the afternoon. Well, you shouldn't be waiting for a problem. Get that annual maintenance today with Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And maybe you've been kicking the can on repairing or replacing your AC unit because it went out at the end of last year. Stop kicking the can. Call Busy Bee today, because if you do need to replace that AC system, you're not going to find a better value on replacement systems. Busy Bee will give you up to 12 months with no payments, no interest, with approved credit, and it'll pay in so many ways to get those added rewards and savings by signing up to be a Beehive member. Being a Beehive member is clutch. It'll get you front of the line service should you have any issues. It'll get you thorough annual maintenance on your plumbing, heating, and air systems. It'll come with no overtime charges 24/7 and 10% off all repairs. Plus, Busy Bee will always come see you on Saturday with those convenient availability hours, so you'll never be left waiting over the weekend to have your AC or your heat fixed. Busy Bee, your Rude Pro partner for satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833, or online at busybeehvac.com.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation. Hey, Dan Mandison, I love my Patriot Supply. It's emergency food so you can care for your family no matter what. And today, we're fixing creamy chicken flavored rice. And the thing I love about my Patriot Supply, it's easy. You just get the water, turn on the heat, and in minutes, we are ready to go. Now, this food lasts for 25 years in special packaging, and yes, it does taste great. And in just minutes, it's ready to eat. Patriots don't rely on the government to take care of their family in emergencies. It's up to you. Order right now and get $200 off a 3-month food kit. It's important to go to preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. That's preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. Preparewithmandis.com. $200 off a 3-month food kit.
heavy delays. Folks heading northwest to try to get to Eclipse totality right now on I-24. And then adding to it, you got construction there on 24 westbound. That's going to be right there in Clarksville, about mile marker 11. We got the latest stories coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I got a text here from 2049 on the Members Nutrition text line. We were talking about Trump avoiding, or just ignoring the gag order, saying he'd risk his freedom for it. 2049 says, will the Secret Service be jailed too if President Trump is jailed? Seems like that would be a violation of their freedom. I feel like the Secret Service would have to roll there with him, right?
I have no clue.
How does that work?
This might be uncharted territory. I don't know.
I know a guy that works for Secret Service. I might ask him.
Yeah, you should. I wonder if it really is unprecedented or if we have something like, if there's guidelines.
I remember as I was talking to him and I was like, your job sounds pretty exciting. And he's like, yeah, it is occasionally. He's like, a lot of times it's just guarding an empty beach house in Delaware. I was like, oh, that doesn't sound too exciting.
That's not fun.
You're like, no, it's a lot more quiet than you would think.
Yep.
It doesn't sound fun.
No, but that's why 99% of the time it's nothing. But that 1%, they need you.
Yeah, I don't think anything in Delaware sounds fun, to be fair. Like, I mean, seriously, like, is there anything good about Delaware?
No.
Miss me with that Rehoboth Beach. It's not. There's nothing fun happening in Delaware. 3916 said, well, if Epstein can hang himself in jail, so can Trump. Then we definitely need Secret Service. Definitely need Secret Service in there. Good point. We have to. We have to have Secret Service in there.
Don't.
I'm sorry. So do you remember The Rock, his comments about endorsing Joe Biden?
Yeah, for last election and yeah.
So he's feeling bad. Feels guilty. Do I have it somewhere? All right. So his comments were like, listen, I felt bad. It was really about, I kind of caused division. That's what he said. Which I would argue, it's like, nah, the president did that. But have you seen the Reddit comments on The Rock?
No.
The Reddit users are absolutely seething over The Rock saying he's not going to endorse Joe Biden.
Oh, really?
So I was reading them because I scroll through Reddit occasionally just to mine for salt, and I brought the best one for you. Are you ready for this?
Yes, please.
All right, it starts like this. F The Rock.
Straight and to the point.
F The Rock. As a person who was always respected The Rock fan as a wrestler, actor, and a good man, has turned out to be a effing sellout to America. What is he a good actor? Would you consider The Rock a good actor?
No.
No,
that's not why we watch him.
No. So anyway, he goes on. His statement on Fox News was a political attack on Biden, as he is clearly a misinformed and dishonest to say Biden is the cause of all the country's problems and division. Fact check that for me, Mac. Is Biden the cause of all the country's problems and division?
Bingo.
Thank you. That was quick. He goes on to say, he failed to mention anything negative about the most dangerous man in our country. The spelling is awful on Reddit, by the way. So, I'm reading it verbatim, so, don't judge me. He failed to mention anything negative about the most dangerous man in our country history in Trump, who's outlined everything that he plans to do to not only our country, but to anyone who opposes him and his ideology. Trump has threatened every institution, judge, politician, and media, as they are all under the threat of violence. That's how I felt. I wonder if this anonymous Reddit poster felt the same way about Brett Kavanaugh's home being surrounded by violent leftist protesters calling for his death. Probably not. Or, I wonder if he felt the same way. Is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Biden got on TV and said, my patience is wearing thin.
Mm-hmm.
No. Just orange man bad. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, WrestleMania was pretty good last night. Just saying. There's
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and it's not just Eclipse traffic slowing things down. We got a big problem westbound 40 if you're trying to get to downtown. There is a crash blocking the right 3 lanes right there at Spence Lane, so get to the left. To get around that crash, you got an overturned vehicle. And then you've got stop-and-go traffic off and on, heavy delays heading northwest out of Nashville. People trying to get to the Eclipse totality. Channel 4's Dan Thomas says he and a crew left around 6 o'clock this morning to get to Evansville, Indiana. Normally a 2.5-hour drive.
Collectively, from start to finish, we'll have 3 minutes and 2 seconds of totality here in Evansville. And that will start right around the time that Nashville's partial solar eclipse at 95% peaks, right around 2:03 in the afternoon.
But it's likely going to be cloudy here in Middle Tennessee. Midday money news, stocks in positive territory heading into the noon hour. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at the Glock store. Now, listen, I heard Matt Murphy and Dan Mandis talking about the Glock store nonstop. They were always telling me how great it was. And I thought to myself, guys, I've been to a gun range. I get it. It's probably nice. But I didn't understand what they were saying. After visiting the Glock store last week, I have to tell you, Matt Murphy and Dan Mandis were right. The Glock store, in a word, is amazing. Huge, 35,000 square feet, bright, well-stocked, staffed with the friendliest, most knowledgeable people ever, especially if you're asking about home and self-defense, because that's what they specialize in. They have that. They have all of that and custom Glocks. So many custom Glocks. You have to see it to believe it. I could barely believe it, and I was witnessing it in real time. And I was amazed that all these performance parts that they make right here in Nashville, from pyramid triggers to extended controls, tungsten guide rods, and they install them for you for free while you wait. Nobody else does that. But my biggest surprise during my visit of the Glock store was from the Shoot 270 indoor ranges and what they had to offer. Or I guess what they didn't have to offer would be a far better description, because they don't have lanes. Yeah, no shooting lanes. They have private shooting rooms with personal instructors. I cannot wait to have the first session with my wife and I. She can't wait either. We're going back and forth. I think my first session is going to be me solo, because we're trying to line up a babysitter. But she is jazzed to get in there and train as well. If you don't have a spot where you train, I suggest you train at the Glock store. Go online, check it out, glockstore.com. Minutes from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Mac Maury producing. Ken Weaver in the newsroom. You guys on the Members Nutrition text line and phone lines at 615-737-9986. I have to call Mac out for something.
Oh, what's that?
The silence from you on Morgan Wallen today has been deafening.
Well, I mean, yeah, that whole hour that you spent talking about it, I just kept my mic off. I was wondering why you were.
Why do you not condemn his actions?
Dude's an idiot.
Oh my gosh. So,
fool.
All right, so this is over the weekend, right?
Yep.
He's out drinking, and he's on a rooftop bar on Broadway.
Yep.
And he threw a chair off the roof.
Off the roof.
And it landed 3 minutes away.
3 feet.
3 feet away. Sorry. Why did I say 3 minutes? When you need the police, they're minutes away. 3 feet away from police officers. He's so lucky that it didn't hit anybody.
So lucky, man. This story's completely different.
Was it Saturday night?
I can't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday night. I saw all the reports this morning.
So find out what day it was. My wife and daughter were down on Broadway Saturday night. Lauren Daigle was in town, and she had a concert. So I sent the girls.
That's cool.
Got them tickets for Christmas.
That's nice.
So my 10-year-old and my wife, so Kennedy and Virginia went down there. There was like a ton of preteen girls that she knew down at this concert.
Sure, yeah.
So like you it's not even like a drunk idiot would take a chair. It could have been like just the most innocent of innocent bystanders, and that could have ruined the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and subsequently his as well. And this he's escaping by here pretty lucky. It was Sunday night. So last night, and I believe he was at Eric Church's bar.
Yeah, it was Eric Church's spot. Why is he doing this?
Man.
Like, I just want to grab the guy and be like, hey, stop drinking.
Yeah, that's it.
Stop drinking.
That's really what it's about right now.
Every time this guy's getting himself into trouble, there's one common denominator.
Yep.
And it's alcohol. Stop drinking.
Yeah, you've got a problem, man. Yeah, I mean, that's what it seems like. When he gets to that point, it seems like he can't control his behavior. Seen it a few times now.
So stop.
Yeah. Don't know how many chances he's going to get.
Or don't go out.
Yeah, or don't go out.
Drink at home.
Yep. And you make sure you have someone who supervises you and make sure you don't leave. And yeah.
What in the world?
Seriously, man. Because you're right. I mean, we're talking about 3 feet. I mean, this story is way different. This is national,
It would be way different.
Yes.
3 feet. It's insane.
And who knows? Maybe next time they're in that 3 feet, That's the scary part. Got to make sure there's no next time.
He's just going to screw up his entire life if he keeps going and doing this kind of stuff.
You see his mugshot, too? They just showed it right there.
He looks just like you.
I wasn't going there.
You didn't think so?
I'll take it, though, yeah.
The first thing I saw Morgan Wallen. I said, I didn't know he looked so much like Mac.
Yeah, we got the same hair going. Yeah.
I bet you if you don't shave for a couple days, you're a dead ringer for Morgan Wallen. I swear.
Well, no, he definitely let the liquor talk last night. That's for sure.
Oh, my gosh.
That is for sure.
It blows my mind that people can be this rich, this famous, and still make those kind of decisions.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. You've got so much just that you could lose in an instant because of being dumb like that. Like the world, man.
Ooh. And is this going to change the way they operate downtown? Are there going to be no more chairs on the rooftops?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a good question. Or if they are, they're bolted to the roof, Yeah. That sort of thing. That's a good question.
Because, I mean, if I'm a business owner down there,
oh, yeah,
that's like immediate. Chairs are being bolted down.
Yep.
Have to be.
Yeah, I know, because they already restrict. A lot of the rooftops don't sell glass. No glass.
For that reason.
For that exact reason. Yeah, I've seen people on Broadway get kicked out for dropping their cigarette off the roof. So they're definitely strict about. They're watching people who are on those balconies. But yeah, I mean, dude, a chair. Jeez, man,
not a good look.
Jason on the Members Nutrition Super Text line says, Mac doesn't have a mullet. He's not redneck enough for that. I'll take that.
You sort of have a mullet.
No, man. It's party everywhere, bro. There's no business.
All right, fair. 6681 said, I didn't get arrested every time I drank, but I've never been arrested sober. Listen, man, I get it.
That's yep. It's relatable.
This is why I don't drink.
Mm-hmm.
I'm too much fun.
Yeah, you're just a little too much fun.
Yeah, I stopped that years ago. It just honestly blows my mind that this guy would do that. And you have people walking around down there that have no idea a chair could come hurtling at them at any moment.
4269 says, mullet notwithstanding, it's Mac. I just looked. It is so Cougar Chow.
Yeah, it does look like it looks like Mac.
We're making different decisions, Morgan and I.
2345 on the Members Nutrition text line with a great text. And this is, I don't know, maybe he doesn't have a problem, but this hits. Alcoholism does not discriminate. Rich, poor, white, black, purple, Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter. It can affect the best and worst of us. Have a blessed day. Hey, God bless you too. Listen, it definitely sounds like he has an alcohol problem.
Yeah. Can't control it. Yeah.
100%. The 2862 said Morgan Wallen has been on a tear since he left East Tennessee.
I mean, yeah, because there are videos that have come out of Morgan where it's not even getting in trouble with the law, just like, hey, spotted Morgan Wallen this weekend, and it's just him just belligerent.
Really?
Yeah, like stumbling, bumbling, and again, no trouble with the law necessarily on those weekends, but you see him regularly in these videos going viral on social media. It's just like, dang, dude, you look wasted.
No, I mean, just stop. Just stop. I mean, I feel bad, honestly, and I'm glad that nobody got hurt. I think this is definitely going to change the dynamic of downtown and those rooftop bars. They have to bolt the furniture down.
I'm surprised that wasn't already a thing, to be honest. That's a good call.
What? It's like $1 for those little bolts, right?
Come on.
Easy.
Yeah, that should be this week. Boom. Let's get that going.
I'm sure.
Summer's starting. Let's get that going right now.
Oh, especially because now that it's happened once.
Yeah.
You're going to have other people, it's just going to be planted in their head.
Yeah. And it's going to be like, oh, I'd never do that. And then 10 beers and a few shots later, you and your friends like, oh, remember Morgan Wallen did this? And all of a sudden, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Jason says, serious question. Why would anyone local go downtown for anything? It's a good point.
It's fair.
It's fair.
It's fair. It's a rare occasion that I go on Broadway.
I will go down to Broadway when I have like friends and family visiting.
Exactly.
They're like, oh, we got to do Broadway. Go. I'm like, all right.
Oh, shoot.
All right.
Dang it. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Okay, we can do that. I tend to not go down there unless there's an event. Like I have to have a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
The reason is not going down to Broadway.
No, never.
No,
definitely not.
My wife and kid wouldn't have been down there if it wasn't for the Lauren Daigle concert, which was awesome, by the way. Everybody was oohing and ahhing over Lauren Daigle. Do you know Lauren Daigle?
That name sounds familiar.
Christian artist.
Yes.
She's got some pipes.
Yeah, I'll have to play her.
Yeah, she's so they had a fantastic time down there.
That's awesome. Was that her first concert or?
No, because when Virginia worked with Capitol Records, we were doing concerts all the time.
So she's been to more concerts than she probably even knows.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is it, and then there's been like an extended break.
Gotcha.
Because all that stopped come the pandemic.
Yeah.
So she was like 6, and then up till now she hasn't done any big concerts. So this was a big one.
Yeah, this was a big one. Yeah.
She was very
she'll remember
excited
this
about that.
one, and yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So they had a blast. But no, we've done, I mean, so many concerts. We saw who was it? Who was it in Pittsburgh at Heinz Field? Oh, Kenny Chesney.
Wow, that's awesome.
Dude, that concert
That'd be cool.
We immediately regretted it.
Wait, really?
Yeah. So we got free tickets because she had an artist on the show, Sam Hunt. And it was like we got down there and we did not recognize the level of pre-gaming that would be going on.
Oh, yeah.
We lasted maybe 3 songs into her artist, then we got the heck out of there.
And yeah, just had to.
I mean, because there were like, even the river was like, boats were just filled the river around Heinz Field. They said they picked up like 3.5 tons of trash after the Kenny Chesney concert at Heinz Field.
Dang.
I know. We got down there and we're like thinking like, oh, it's gonna be a nice country concert.
Yeah.
Like, you know, good people. We got there, we're like, what did we sign up
You're
for?
like, whoa.
We gotta go. Very scary moment. Very scary moment. It's like, this is not what I envisioned. Felt more like a hip hop show.
Yeah, that's definitely not the vibe that I would be expecting. That's interesting.
Nope.
Next level partying.
It was next level. There was a bunch of people there. Miranda Lambert was there. Sam Hunt.
Oh wow.
Miranda Lambert had like just divorced Blake.
Yep.
So
Blake Shelton. Yep.
She couldn't even get through her song. She was all crying.
Oh wow.
No, I didn't.
I don't.
I was like, I felt bad for the people that paid for tickets to see. Get it together. It's 11:47 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I wish I heard that sound last night while I was watching WrestleMania.
Ooh, that would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
That would have been nuts.
We missed it.
Yeah, man, I missed it last night. I heard it was awesome.
I enjoyed it. I'm an actual nerd.
You're a fan, though. Yeah, you're like, you're into it, dude.
I'm a nerd. It's all right. I enjoyed WrestleMania over the weekend. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We are now, what is this? It's like 2 hours and 9 minutes away from totality.
Totality.
Oh my gosh, are you hype?
Woo!
So we were asking earlier about where we can get the glasses. Are you looking? Is there clouds still up there?
It's so cloudy.
It's so cloudy.
So cloudy.
So people were sending in their last minute ideas for glasses earlier. And I feel like let's recap them.
Yes, please.
Welding helmet. Welding helmet was suggested many, many times. But somebody said that, listen, you go to Tractor Supply and you can get the lens for like $10. You don't need the whole helmet.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. Just strap the lens on over.
Just strap, like you'll look like Cyclops from the X-Men.
Yeah.
Do that. And then Sonic, I guess. A lot of people on the Members Nutrition text line are saying that Sonic is giving away a pair of glasses with every blackout slush that you order.
So a slush and glasses, I mean, that's not a bad deal.
That's probably the best deal you're going to find.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
No slush at Tractor Supply.
It's a different kind of slush.
Steve said 7-Eleven has them. A couple people are saying Shell gas stations have them. So there's still places that you can get them. 0272 has an unorthodox idea. They had said use a box of COVID masks over your eyes for protection. The best part about that is you're also protecting the people around you.
That's Yep. That's exactly right.
You know what I mean? You're thinking of others too. That's not just for you. Warby Parker, somebody said you can get glasses at Warby Parker.
Warby Parker?
What's a Warby Parker?
No idea what that is.
Maybe I'm reading that text out of context.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody's just telling me their name. No, Warby Parker near Belmont. Yeah. Warby Parker.
Oh, it's okay, gotcha.
What is it?
They offer eyeglasses and sunglasses and stuff. That's actually probably be an underrated place to go. Any sort of eyeglass store is going to have this stuff.
Yep. And somebody else told me America's Best optometrist.
Okay. There you go.
They'll have those. They have those locations all over the place. So, you're excited? You're going to be on the roof.
I'm pumped. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know.
Why didn't you clear this?
I don't know. I just saw a tweet from Murphy. I'm going to be on the roof.
Well, I think that you should be on the roof too.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
And you don't need ear protection when you're listening to the play-by-play.
Yes. 4792 says, rub sunscreen on your eyeballs. Then just look. That'll work.
That's actually, that's the thing.
That's next level.
That's the next level. 3175 said there's a kiosk in Cool Spring Mall. He just purchased 5 glasses for $10.
Cool.
All right.
Not bad.
Yep. And people are still upset that they're doing pothole repair.
It is kind of like, what? Like, why right now?
Yep. John brought up the fact that he said, no big deal. I've seen about 1,000 eclipses. Is that Mandis this morning?
Was it? Yeah, because he's got that in quotes.
Yeah.
Mandis say that?
I couldn't remember if it was you or Mandis.
Mandis says that.
Mandis said, yeah, I've seen about 1,000.
No, you haven't. It's impossible.
Like mathematically impossible.
It just doesn't happen.
That's what he said, though. Listen, if Dan Mandis tells me that he's seen about 1,000 eclipses, I'm guessing that, I'd give him a margin for error that he's right around 980.
Yeah.
Or over.
Or over 1,000.
Or over 1,000.
I've seen 1,000 of these.
That's what he said. It was so good. Dwayne said, for us old school guys, you could use a film negative to see the eclipse. I don't know if that does that work? I don't think that sounds good.
I don't know.
Somebody else said, if you can't find glasses, watch it through the reflection on a car windshield or rear view. I've also heard the trick where you use your iPhone camera.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know if you'd be able to see it, the whole thing.
This is like people talking about like Medusa, get the mirror.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. The sun is Medusa today.
Can you use that for our promo? Like, I don't even want to be in it at all. I just want it to be you going, this is the thing. It's like you got to use the mirror.
Exactly.
The sun is Medusa
The sun is Medusa today.
Yep. Ben with the super text of the day on the Members Nutrition text line said, Joe Biden was raised on eclipses. So good. So good. All right. Enjoy the eclipse. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.